Welcome back to the channel, and today we're in the preview of the new PvP update once again, and I'm gonna familiarize myself with the randomizer logic and how we can use it, because I saw some comments on the review of the update, and one comment mentioned, what if you have a bunch of different types of weapons on your creation, but every single time you fire, a random weapon gets chosen, so you never know if you're going to be firing a rocket or a machine gun or a blaster or a cannon or whatever. So I think that might be kind of a fun thing, just to see if I can figure out how to use the randomizer to accomplish such a task. I think it's going to be a good learning experience on getting familiar with the new logic blocks to build something like this. So let's start building our prototype. All right, so there's a couple of just main weapon types here. I think I'm gonna forego the smart cannon. We're just gonna use minigun as like a bullet-based gun. Then we have blaster for a laser-based gun, which is a really good one. And then we'll have large cannon for one explosive. Then we got rockets. And then of course EMP is like the curveball, because it doesn't really do damage, but you don't really know what's gonna happen. So now none of these weapons can be triggered by an input control, because we need just logic to be triggering these things. All right, so we got our randomizer block. Now, here, I'm gonna go on the carrier so I have more even terrain to work with. So right now, I'm gonna have the randomizer block respond when I press the button. Oh, let's give ourselves a number output so we can see what is going on. All right, so right now, this is not gonna be a good way to do it, because when I hold down the fire button, it's gonna cycle through a bunch of random numbers. So it'll essentially be like firing all of the weapons just in random succession. So what I want to happen, this is like the goal, is when I press the fire button, I want it to choose a weapon and fire that single weapon for the duration of that button click. But I think you might need to add like a balancing aspect where you can't just hold the button down forever and expect it to work, because then if you get the gun that you want, like the blaster, if you just never let go of the button, you'll always have the blaster, and that's kind of like cheating the system a little bit. So I think the way to do that is, let's say you can have a 4-second burst. So if you do duration of 4 seconds on the actual logic randomizer, then I hold it for 4 seconds. And then you can see it turns off until I press it again. Yes, now we can do a maximum of a 4-second burst, which I think is fair. All right, but the problem is our output is very wild and not very usable. So if I have an output from one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 weapons. So 1 to 5. Now when I press it, it's gonna cycle randomly between 1 and 5, but I want it to change on input. Okay, no, that's not quite what I meant. Yeah, so change on input just means that it holds a value after I press the button. So I think what I want is negative change plus output. So now when I press it, you can see it holds the value. And if I press it, I need a negative input. So here's how this is going to work. So when this receives a negative input, it's going to change the output to a random number. And I want that to happen every single time I click. So I'm going to set this on a delay of 0.01. And then we will just have an OR gate that goes into this immediately. Hopefully, I might have to just change that delay a little bit more. But this is going to send a negative output when I click. Okay, interesting. That's not working the way I expected. All right, here we go. This needs to have a duration of 0.01. And then this needs to not react until 0.02. So then we go 4.36. Oh wait, the 0.01 isn't enough for this to even respond? It should respond. 0.02. All right, now it's doing it. All right, so now this needs to be delayed just a little bit more. Huh, if I turn the duration off, does it work? Oh wow, look at that. You can see the delay. All right, so I do think it's just the delay was too long. So the duration was too short. 0.05. How much of a duration does it need to register? More than that? 0. 0.07. There we go. Does 0.06 work? All right, 0.06 seems to be the minimum amount of time it takes for this logic gate to communicate with this logic gate. Okay, so now I'll change it back to left click. But now I need to make sure that this doesn't react before the negative input, so this has to be 0.07. Wait, it's not receiving... All right, maybe I think it needs to be another 0.06, so maybe like 0.12 is probably gonna be it, but let's just try 0.1. Nope, not yet. It's overriding it. I don't know if there's an easier way for me to do what I'm doing, but this is what I figured. In order to have a one button fire that is randomized every time, or no, maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe after you fire, because then you're gonna have a bit of a cooldown. When this is off, it turns on the negative output going into it. Ah, that's the way to do it, I think. So when this is off, the negative is on, which then changes this. Okay, so in that case, we need a NOR gate. This goes into the NOR gate. The NOR gate goes into this, and this doesn't need a control anymore. Okay, that's weird. The NOR gate is on, and the NOR gate is routed to this, so it should be sending an output. Oh, but the duration. There we go. There we go. And then when I click, oh no, then when I click, it just cancels, it cancels out rather than applying a positive. Unless this sends a less negative. There we go. All right, I think I figured it out. So the way I solved that is the output of this, I just had to be less than 1 because my input in this is positive 1. So they were canceling each other out to give an input of 0. But now that this is just like a negative 0.1, now my positive 1 overrides that into a positive signal, which then gets transferred out. And now we see when I click, there's a 3.44. And I let go and I click again, 1.57. And now that gives me ample time. The only issue is if I release and click... Oh, wait. I can't do it anymore. Oh, the duration... Now the duration messes it up. The duration is only 4 because it's receiving a constant signal from here. Unless this has a delay of like 0.05. Will that work? So now if I hold it down... Yeah, now I can't click it anymore. Wow, there's a lot of unexpected things happening that is making this harder than I expected. All right, so I could just get rid of the duration and then this entire issue becomes not a problem. But now we do have the problem where I can just hold down the button as long as I can. What we could do is set the duration of each weapon to 5 seconds. So, or 4 seconds. Duration 4, duration 4, duration 4. Or we could even have a dedicated duration for each weapon, depending on its like recharge cycle. That could work too. I think that actually solves the issue. All right, so 2.93, 3.58. Yeah, every single time I click now, we get a new number between 1 and 5. So now essentially what I want to do is take this number and instead of it being like decimals, I wanted to round it to the nearest absolute number. So there's actually, I think it's the function block that has an absolute. Okay, so I think absolute, it's not gonna round to the nearest number. It only, wait, what if I do rounding? Rounding might be what I'm looking for. Yeah, absolute is just the distance from 0, so it's just always gonna be positive. 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4. What about a 5? Are we gonna get a 5? 3, 4, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, 5. I feel like this isn't fair. 5 seems way less likely than every other number because I don't know if that's true or not. So 1 is the minimum. So if it's rounding everywhere between 1 and 1.5. Yeah, this isn't a completely even, this is not a completely even spread because the numbers in the middle, 2, 3, and 4, they should be getting rounded from the 0.5 negative to the 0.5 positive above their range. Whereas the 1, we can't go lower, so it doesn't have the same range. 1 and 5 have half the range as 2, 3, and 4 in this case. However, if I do ceiling, and then I set the range to 0 and 5, then everything from 0 to 1 will be 1, 1.1, 1.01 to 2 will be 2, and so on. That should give us an even odds of every number. Now let's see how this feels. 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 1. Why am I not getting a 5? There's a 5. There's a 5. Wait, 0? 0 shouldn't be possible. Okay, hold on. It needs to be... Oh, wait. You can just set rounding. Oh, I can do that in the number block itself. Okay, I think I got it now. Yeah, that's contained within the number logic block itself. I was adding more logic than I needed to. So now we can see we got raw numbers randomized between 1 and 5 when I press the button. When I'm not pressing the button, it's just reading 0. All right, okay, so now we need each of these to fire under a different number, in which case I believe we use a comparison, and we're just gonna set these at equals, and then we have 1 assigned to each weapon. Yeah, so each of these go into a weapon. This number block goes into all of the comparison gates. So now this comparison gate will have a threshold of equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now if we roll a 1, this fires, a 2, this fires, and so on. So let's see if this works now. All right, 1 is not working. It is clearly 1, so it should be equal to 1. This is threshold 1, comparison mode equals. That was a 1, and you can see it is hooked up there. Why did that not work? Why is this not working? Okay, I'm starting to suspect that this rounding might not be an objective rounding. Here, if I actually, we can actually test this out. If I put another number display and I have this number display feed into this number display. Okay, so the rounding setting that I applied to this number display is simply a visual representation. It is not a raw change. So it's not actually rounding the value and outputting that value. It's just rounding the value and just showing you a number that is a rounded version of what's actually happening. So we're not changing what's actually happening. We're just seeing it differently. So I do need that extra logic. So we're gonna take the functions block, and I'm hoping that means it's gonna take the function of, what was I doing, ceiling? The function of ceiling. We'll use this as a, as our actual raw number display to see what's happening now. So this should take this and apply ceiling to it. There we go. Now we can see, even with the decimals there, we are not getting any actual decimals anymore. So now if I hook up this function block into all these, now the equals should actually equal. Look at that. And then now when I'm holding it down, it can no longer fire after that. And I release, click again. We got a new one. Oh, I clicked that one twice. Why is it just cycling between these two weapons right now? There we go. There's another one. There's another one. Yeah, so every single time I click. Kind of the ironic thing is if you click too much, you might still waste a shot because you might select one of the ones that are recharging. All right, so 4 seconds is too much for this. So yeah, now we can define the duration. So I'll go like 3.5. How long does the, well, oh, I actually got it. 3.5 is also too long. So probably just 3 seconds maybe is how long that blast lasts. Here, I'm just gonna give this gun right click control so I can just control it manually. All right, yeah, so 3.5 seconds means that I cannot shoot it after it has burnt out. So now I'm gonna assign a cooldown. I'm gonna assign the duration that I can fire to the essentially the cooldown of these weapons. So that way, once they run out of ammo, I have to be forced to select a random weapon to fire again. So this one. That seems, 4 seconds seems almost perfect. I feel like let's try 4.5. All right, 4.5 seconds is perfect for that. We get to actually hear the clip run out. All right, these ones, I feel like you just get one shot. So I'm just gonna have duration 1 second because they have like a one shot and then they have to recharge anyway. They don't have a clip. All right, so now every single time I click, we're gonna get a different weapon. All right, this is pretty cool. It's working. Yeah, so now even if I like rapidly click, you can see that it just keeps randomly kind of picking a weapon. It seems to do pretty well. Like there's no way to kind of defeat it, basically. You can't just like keep clicking to try to maintain the same weapon or anything like that. You can't hold it down to keep firing the same weapon over and over again because of the duration. So you're forced to be constantly switching weapons. This is a great use of the randomizer, and it wasn't too hard to figure out. I just had to overcome the certain things I didn't expect to be little roadblocks, but they weren't that bad to overcome. And the biggest thing was getting the negative input to automatically go in here without interfering with anything. But this NOR gate made that pretty simple. All right, let's build this into an actual vehicle. I'm gonna see if I can fit all these weapons on an aiming servo turret thing. Then we'll actually have a a video game world representation of it. All right, I attempted to build a turret that contains the weapons, perhaps. Let's see if this actually works. It's a little shaky. Oh, because I've messed up my attachments here. There we go. Now it shouldn't be shaky anymore. And then I believe, yeah, we're still gonna get a different weapon every time that we fire. Okay, cool. Turret works now. Never know what we're gonna get. All right, I think I've got my tank built. It drives perfectly capable, and all I gotta do is press the fire button, and you never know what you're gonna get. You could get a machine gun. You could get a laser blaster. You could get an EMP. You could get a rocket. And I haven't gotten the cannon yet. The cannon is one of the options, but there we go. There's the cannon. Here, let's actually spawn in 2 of the... Oh, well, apparently I can't get out of this thing without destroying it, but at least it'll give me something to aim at. Okay. Got a rocket on the first one. Exhausting my machine gun. I'm holding down the button right now just to see what happens, and nothing happens after I exhaust the clip, so I have to switch. Oh, I happen to get the same exact weapon again. Can exhaust the clip, though. Oh, no! I actually used the EMP, and that triggered the weapon on the other vehicle, and I ended up getting hurt because of my own doing. Yeah, the EMP, like I said, is even more of a wild card. All right, got some laser blasters, machine guns again, rocket explosions, machine gun again, laser blaster again. There we go, there's that cannon. Of course it missed though. Oh, there we got it again. Yeah, this is really, really cool. There's so many possibilities on what can be done, especially with like the randomizer block, and just the aiming servo as a whole is just an awesome addition that I'm looking forward to using some more. I think having non-aiming weapons like the tank cannon on actual tanks now with aiming servos is going to be so much more satisfying because you get to actually line up your own shots. You can aim for weak points instead of having the auto aim just go for center of mass all the time. So I think those battles are gonna be really fun, but I'm interested to see what kind of ideas you'd like to see happen with the new capabilities in the game, because PvP is definitely gonna be, it's changed. It's changed a lot. So do you wanna see do you wanna see this? Do you want me to see to implement this in a PvP battle where everybody just gets the same selection of guns chosen at random whenever they fire? I think that could be pretty fun. So let me know what you want to see down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you'll probably enjoy some more you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.